My goodness. Yes, sir. Oh, I know you guys are ready for this show. I know the chat is ready for this one. What is up, everybody, and welcome in to the pregame show.
Let's go!
Presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up and gamble along with us. Later in the show, this man over here is going to make all of you rich beyond your wildest dreams with his great. How do you bet on this game, man?
You just choose the Nuggets.
Yeah, you just choose the Nuggets on everything. Guys, we have a very special show for you. Real quick, I got Superstar Dev in the house. That's not what makes it special.
That's me ducking.
All right, just duck out the way.
That's me ducking.
Instead, we have the winningest basketball coach in Colorado high school history, fresh off of his 10th championship with the East Angels just a week ago. That is, of course, Rudy Carey. Rudy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're excited. Guys, later in the show, we're going to talk. There's a lot of stuff today. We thought we were going to have a regular show, talk a little East Angels, talk about some of the Colorado high school sports. But then a big story dropped today with Joel Embiid, first trash-talking Nikola Jokic, and then ducking him and not playing in tonight's game. James Harden is out, but we're going to put that on pause. And we're going to instead, I'm getting a little feedback in here, Kale, in the headphones for something. But we're going to start by talking with our guest here about Denver East. First of all, a championship this year, 10 of them to go. When was the first one?
1988 at Manual.
At Manual. Okay, 1988. Do you remember every single year? Could you go right off the top of your head and say exactly which years they were?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 10 of them.
It's only 10.
It's only 10.
It's only 10. That's all it is.
1988, 1990, 1991, 1996, 2000, 2004. 2014 and 2023.
Awesome. That's incredible. So, let's talk about this one this year. And I want to talk about the evolution of high school basketball in particular. How do you think the game has changed?
Well, defense used to win championships. Now, with the three-point line, better offense usually dictates how the outcome of the game is going to be.
Okay. That's it. That's an interesting one. When do you think that change happened?
When they brought the three-point line in.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going back to the 80s then?
Yeah. Well, we didn't have it in the 80s.
When did it come into high school?
It came in the 90s, about 96.
Okay. And you think it was then that everything changed, that it became more of an offensive?
I think it started changing then.
Okay.
I mean, you stopped using the paint as much as you did, start stretching the floor out, and kids became better shooters.
Okay. What about the evolution of the talent in Colorado? How has it changed over the years? Do you feel it's growing as a basketball, going away as a basketball state?
I think it's about the same. We may have 6 or 7 Division I players every year. I mean, we've had years where we've had more. We've had years where we've had less.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking about more and less, this year I feel like you had the longest odds to winning a championship. Was this your toughest year?
Well, it wasn't tough in that we had less talent than we've ever had that won a championship, but we had high character kids.
Yeah. And what was the identity of the team this year?
The identity was that DeAndre Samuel was our LeBron, and we surrounded him with snipers.
Okay. So a bunch of shooters. Spread pick and roll?
A lot of that. A lot of two-man game, a lot of three-man game.
As a coach, how do you approach that? When do you know, okay, this is who we are? Is it over the summer? Is it years? You're seeing these guys develop and you're kind of, okay, we're going to mold into this. How do you determine what an identity will be?
We lost our first 2 games in the Fossil Ridge tournament, and that wasn't working what we were doing. We had our 2 guys, Austin Moore and DeAndre, playing guard, and it wasn't being effective. So we moved them down to forwards. Then we brought Jack Greenwood off the bench to be a starter, and he was a pure shooter. Okay. So that's actually when we found ourselves.
I got to ask the real tough question the chat really wants to know. So I was at Thornton, we weren't in the same league, but what was the strategy back in the day going up against George Washington when you had to stop this guy? Was he even on the scouting report?
Of course he was.
What page was he on? 3rd, 4th page of the scouting report?
First page. Yeah. Let him shoot.
Damn it.
You had 1 second there where you thought you had this.
I mean, thanks, Rudy.
No, he was a good player. Player. And if you're on the court, you have to be dealt with.
Yeah.
He had to be dealt with. But, I mean, we didn't feel like shooting was his strength.
Okay, so you said go under.
Yeah, speaking of shooting not being our strengths, the last time that we seen Rudy Carey, it was at the Pepsi Center. Rudy Carey had the first shot of the game, free throw, in which he airballed. What happened that night?
I missed a shot. They gave me a funky basketball, and it was very light. It was more of a girl's ball.
Yeah.
And the basket looked like it was right in front of me, so I tried to touch it, and I missed it.
I love that.
It happens. It happens.
That was a way to bring that out. You weren't going to bring it out until he gave you.
I shot like Dev shot all your season.
God damn it.
That was your homage. You were paying homage to Dev there. I like it. What about the Denver Nuggets? You watch a lot of Denver Nuggets basketball?
I watch quite a bit. You
Okay.
know. I like the Denver Nuggets. I like how they share the ball. And Joker's a very good passer. That's what makes them so tough.
Yeah. What do you think of their chances this year? I mean, obviously they're competing for a championship. Do you see them as a championship team?
I think they have a shot. I like Phoenix if everybody's healthy, but I think Denver has a shot if everybody stays healthy.
What do they need to do?
They need to win some games on the road.
Yeah.
They need to beat some good teams on the road.
What do you think it means that they haven't this year? I mean, they have a winning record at the moment, but I think it's 17-16, something like that. Why do you think that's been the case?
I think they're a little thin on the bench.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think the bench guys are as productive as they need to be.
Okay. Is there anybody in particular you think needs to step up? Is there a guy off that bench that you look at and say, hey, that's the key?
Well, I think the Green kid could step up. And I think they need a little more presence inside off the bench.
Yeah, that's definitely – I don't know if they're going to find that one, though, on such short order. What do you got?
We have a super chat. You're not going to be here super long, so I just want to get to it right now. Someone asked you, Coach Rudy, as Colorado's greatest coach, what are your favorite high school venues to play at over the years?
I like the Pepsi Center. I like McNichols Sports Arena, and I like the Pepsi Center.
The big ones, huh? But I know from my time playing in those venues, they were always – even if you got 10,000 people at Pepsi Center or Ball Arena now, it still felt empty. That's why I didn't like it.
Well, we sold out most of the games that we played there.
Yeah?
You know, I didn't particularly like the Coliseum, and I didn't particularly like Boulder.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Is there any high school venues that you like to get out to, or you just felt like was a good crowd every single time?
Always the Thunderdome. Yeah, Thunderdome's a great venue.
Yeah, always a good crowd.
All kids want to play in the Thunderdome.
Yeah. I want to, the reason we're having Rudy on and the reason that we're down here, you guys see us in the bar tonight, lots of people in the back. We're having a special event tonight, and people in Colorado know that Denver East has had despite winning the state title, it's been a rocky couple of weeks for Denver East High School, and tonight we're throwing a benefit for Luis Garcia. We actually had somebody, a friend of his, reach out and inform us that, hey, Luis's family has set up a GoFundMe. It was on February 23rd, I believe, that he was shot and killed right outside of Denver East High School. A soccer player for Denver East, a student at Denver East. And so tonight, 10% of all proceeds of all revenues that are spent here at the bar are going to go towards his family into that GoFundMe. And then, Cale, do you have the lower third that you could put up there? Go ahead and bring that up, because I know the people that aren't here might want to participate. There he is right there, Luis Garcia. You can scan that on your TV or on your phone or whatever, and it'll take you to the GoFundMe. So if you want to donate $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever you want, that goes directly to Luis's family. And there's actually been a second shooting this week, or just last week. Two administrators, two deans were shot in a completely separate event. Can you just walk us through what has it been like with the school, and how has the last couple weeks really affected the school? Well,
first and foremost, let me say that East High School is a great school, always has been and always will be. My 6 children went to East High School. I went to East High School. It's always been a great school. You have transgressions in all schools. We got people that need mental help and are neglected, and that's just not at East High School, but that's everywhere. Our principal has been under the microscope, and just like Columbine High School, you can't blame the administrator, right, because you can't see this stuff coming. Right. East High School has had some dark days, and people are concerned, but it will be corrected. And at some point, East will be the safest school in the state.
Yeah, Luis Garcia. I don't think you knew him personally, but I know that he was friends with a player on the team. Are there any positive things that you heard about the student?
Well, Gil Gonzalez was one of his best friends, and he was a quiet kid. He was a very personable kid, and he was a solid kid. And he was a soccer player, and he wasn't a troublemaker at all. He wasn't gang related. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. And just what has it been like with the school? I mean, this latest one, I think, was it a Monday? Was it Monday or Tuesday? Do you remember? One of the early days of this week. But what has it been like since then? And in what ways has the school sort of been dealing with this in the wake of the last shooting?
Well, it's more concerned than anything. You know, a lot of kids are frightened, and the school climate has been down somewhat. You know, there's just a lot of concern from the parents, a lot of concern from the community, and we're trying to find resolutions to this. And a lot of it is more security,
right,
and probably more recognition of mental health in the school areas.
Right. Well, Rudy, we really appreciate you taking some time to kind of shed some light on this and talk high school basketball with us. Congratulations again on the 10th. I don't know what you're going to do if you win another one. You got to stop winning. You got nowhere else for the rings.
No more fingers.
No more fingers. You know, I'm going to start with the feet now.
So you got 10 more to go, man.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you stopping by and helping us shed a light on this great cause.
The pleasure is mine, and let's raise a lot of money for Luis.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much. All righty. And then, Kelly, you can help him. We're going to go now to our game notes here as the Nuggets get ready. We appreciate you. The Nuggets get ready to take on the 76ers here. And let's get into this because, Dev, today, the weakest move I've ever seen, and I didn't hop on Twitter today. I had a lot of meetings. I was in meetings all day. I didn't have time to really sit down, and I didn't know if I wanted to get into it. Because I tell you all the time, I don't care about the MVP. I don't care about it. And I still don't care about it. But this is one where I can't let this slide. I can't let this slide. Let me give you an order of operations here on the day just to kind of walk through what happened.
This is important.
This is important. First of all, the 76ers lose to the Warriors a couple days back, and Joel Embiid allegedly tells Draymond Green on the court, I don't know if he wanted Draymond Green snitching on him in the postgame, but here he was, saying, I played so hard tonight because you said Jokic was a tougher cover, a tougher cover than me. So we know that Jokic's in his head. We know he's thinking about this. Then he plays the next night of a back-to-back against Phoenix. Plays terrible. I believe it was against Phoenix. Plays horrible. Gets cooked. Terrible, terrible performance. Then he has an interview with Shams Charania in which he has some of the following quotes. He says, speaking of the MVP, which, by the way, I don't care about. I don't care about the MVP.
Not even thinking about it.
I don't care. But since you asked, let me go ahead and say, the criteria just change. It does change. If you want to talk about the last 3 years, let's talk about it. I've been in the running. The first year it was I didn't play enough games. True. Factual.
It happened.
Accurate. He didn't play enough games. Last year I came back. I played enough games. I led the league in scoring, and obviously Nikola deserves it, and he won. But then again, he said, so obviously he won. But then again, but maybe he won as a 6th seed in the West. And then this year, I'm leading the league in scoring. I'm doing all of these things. I should be making an all-defensive team, too. I don't care. Again, he gets that in there. I don't care.
Yeah, he's not thinking about it.
He doesn't care. But every year it's something. And when you add analytics into it, he's playing to the crowd. I'm telling you, he had a little, notes on his hand or something. Just mention analytics in here. But when analytics get into it, which don't make sense, you can talk about analytics all you want. When you got some guys in the league, the eye test tells you that they're not good defensively. But analytics tell you they're not best defenders. Who do you think he's talking about here?
I can't think about it because he's not thinking about the MVP.
No, he's not. So it could be anyone.
Yeah.
I wonder who he's talking about here because he's not saying anybody by name. Might be Hartenstein.
Nobody.
He's talking about Hartenstein.
Okay.
That's when analytics don't make sense. I don't make the rules. I don't choose whatever criteria they're real. So it's whatever people's preferences are. Then he goes on. He's asked about is it title or bust? Not necessarily. I don't care about all the pressure. All I care about is the pressure that I put on myself. I don't care about outside.
Yeah, the cliche. He's not going to name anybody, I'm sure. Yeah. We're not going to know who this could be about.
People have been talking about who has the most pressure to win. People want to mention me. I'm not at the top of that list. I'm not a 2-time MVP. Wait.
2-time MVP.
A 2-time MVP. I've never made first-team All-NBA. I've never won anything. So why is there pressure on me to do something when there are guys that have won 2 MVPs, a bunch of MVPs, and haven't done anything either?
He's not calling out anybody.
You know what he's doing? He's laying down the gauntlet. He is throwing it down saying, let's go.
Listen, I've seen somebody set the table.
Yeah,
I've seen somebody set the table to just make you guys think about it. I'm not going to call anybody out. I'm not going to say anything that could be persuade anybody. I'm just going to set the table and let you guys do with this whatever you want.
All right, so he sets all of that, and man, does he know how to hype up a matchup. And then the report comes out. Joel Embiid, early in the morning, out for tonight's game. He just played 2 games. But tonight, he didn't play yesterday, Dev. He had a day off.
Oh, my God.
Tonight, he is out. He is out. And let me give you a couple facts here, a couple updates. This will be his 14th missed game of the season. Only one player in NBA history has missed 12 games and still won the MVP award. That was Bill Walton in 1978. He missed 24 games. Nobody else has missed more than 12 games. Here's another one for you. Joel Embiid, does he come to Denver and play? No.
He never
his
does.
first year, yes, before Jokic was even a thing. And then since then, his last 6 trips, he's played just once in Denver.
6 times.
You go to Philadelphia, maybe he'll play. Some years he does, some years he does. But he's more likely to play if I get home court. I got to go up against Jokic, I'll play then. You come out here, he's only played once. You know what happened in that game?
What happened?
Jokic drained a game winner right in his eyeball. Of course he's not going to play. I'm sorry. I've gone into this all the time. I really don't care about the MVP. What I do care about is all these BS narratives around the MVP. I've never been more pissed off and also more just like disgusted with a great player as I am with Joel Embiid for going through all these interviews, doing all this trash talking, speaking out of both sides of his mouth, and then ducking it. Absolutely the biggest loser move I've seen in a long time.
This was trifling, honestly, in every single sense of the word, because this is a guy that set the table. He made sure that everybody was putting all of their attention on it. All of the eyes are going to be on this matchup. Everybody's watching. Everybody wanted to watch this. You have the opportunity to shut everyone up, but you look and you say, hey, there's only one way that Jokic could catch me, and that's if I lose this game or if I lose this matchup. Because this is when Jokic won the matchup last year, is when they went up head on head.
It's so
true. This is where you're the closer. Everyone's going to discuss how last time they played, he owned them. Okay, so own them again.
Own them again,
That's
man.
the way that you actually put it to bed. Because not only was this a way for critics or anyone to just say, hey, you're way better than him, this was an opportunity for you to build on the space. But what he did was he made it very difficult for Jokic to actually prove it.
Right.
But also on the other end, maybe he made it harder for himself.
He definitely did. Here's the thing. I don't think he anticipated the blowback that he got. I really don't. I think it backfired. I think he honestly thought okay, I don't have nothing to win. Maybe I'll do this or whatever. But here's my real takeaway from this, Dev, and this is a sincere takeaway. Every player in the NBA says they don't care what outside people think. My validation comes from within. I don't care. Every player says that. And then you know what every player does? Obsessively scrolls Twitter and social media to see what people are saying, to see how they're received. And if you pay attention close enough, you can tell who the very few real ones are that don't actually care. Kobe, I think, was one of those guys that was very well what do I care about all these people booing me, man? This he was made of the right stuff. I honestly think Jokic is seldomly truly affected by these things. It's why it was so shocking when he mentioned Kendrick Perkins and the stat padding thing the other day, which, by the way, Embiid also had something in there about stat padding. Just coincidence that he mentioned, hey, man, I'm not a stat padder. He pulled out all the stops. Here's my thing. Embiid in this one, who's afraid to call out Jokic, by the way. You know this? He calls out Andre Drummond. He calls out Blake Griffin.
Rudy Gobert. He goes at those people.
He goes at people. He won't. I think it's because he respects Jokic's way of carrying himself. But the fact that he's going at him without actually going at him is so cowardly. But what this interview and this ducking really reveals to me is that Joel Embiid is just like the majority of all of these soft NBA players that are actually so hyper-focused on their image, so image-sensitive and image-conscious, that it makes me actually discount what he's actually made of. And I know that's a hot take, but when I read some of this stuff and see him duck, I go, man, come on, man. You're too much in your own head on this.
This was the one, I'm telling you, it was the one opportunity. You look at his campaign. The campaign was incredible going into this morning.
Right.
If he did all those things and he goes out and he puts up 45, he puts up 50 points on Jokic, he puts all of that to bed.
Just go out there and put up an average game. Put up 30. Just go out there and compete. Just be willing to compete.
But you go out of the way, you see that Jokic has a game like that against Giannis. You see that he wins the game against Giannis, and now there's some rumblings. And then you're like, hey, I'm going to sit this one out because I'm being cautious. On top of that, he then seen the backlash, and then he tried to get ahead of it, and everyone discusses it's just an injury, you got to be smart about it. And I understand that. If a player's injured, then they're injured. The guy just played on the second night of a back-to-back. If you were that injured, you shouldn't have played on the second night of a back-to-back. After you just had a monster game, you look at the schedule and you say, hey, this is my opportunity, because no one else is ducking. You talk about that same mode, and that's the same thing that has made me laugh, because all the media that is defending this, they're in the same mode of you got to have the Mamba mentality. Right. You have to be a warrior. You have to be a guy that goes out and proves it. And then he goes out and he ducks all smoke. Kendrick Perkins, the guy.
Called him out.
He's the guy that is number one on the hater list right now. He started this all. He even backtracked.
Yep.
Where now it's okay, let's all look at him. So very embarrassing, and I'm glad that it happened because now it's like, prove it.
And here's the thing about it, man. There's two things to this. One, the fact that he went to the well. This is why I hate the MVP conversation, is because it has nothing to do with the basketball. Even the dialogue about like, oh, are we actually going to talk about racial bias? No, we're just going to use it as like, okay, that's a quiver in my. I'm going to use this one and then analytics. Okay, that's an. It's all narrative and it's not real narrative. It's not like we're having a conversation about something important. It's just how can I insult the other side of this? And here's the thing. He so perfectly has internalized his talking points that interview was just him doing the Kendrick Perkins routine, talking analytics, talking about stat padding. Like, he's just going through the things that he knows make up his thing. And that's why I say he's so image conscious. He's like a politician out on the stump trail. But here's the thing. If he goes and calls out Jokic by name, that would be one thing. He didn't because he's being a coward. He didn't, and then he sat out. Everybody, I think he overplayed his hand. Everybody sees through the facade on this. I think he, like, you know, sometimes people, they like want to tell you something, like, I want to tell you how much money I make, and I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to casually slip it in conversation. You know, you're kind of like, you've been trying to get that out. This is what Embiid was. He did it too obvious that everybody sees exactly what it was, and then ducked. I'm sorry. I would not be surprised if this affects his MVP chances.
I hope that it does. Honestly, I hope that people look at this and say, hey, you had your opportunity. The opportunity came and went. This was your chance to put it all to bed, and you decided not to. Yeah. So now I think that is going to change something. Also, with it being so close to the end of the year, people are going to remember that. Where now you got to go into second place, or third place. And then Jokic just, like creeps up, or he has those type of opportunities. On top of that, I hope that Jokic goes insane tonight.
I hope
just to prove, hey, this is what I'm going to do to your backup. Your starter should have been here.
He should have been here, but
your
he let
starter
you down.
should have been here. He
hope
did
he
this
looks
to you.
at it. I hope we get. I told you. I hope we get evil Jokic because he's been treated so unfairly with these. Like people just project bullshit onto Jokic. He just sits there quietly, plays basketball the way he does, and then people project things onto him. I would love for him to pull the move like, all right, I'm calling everybody out. You subtly called me out. I'm just going to point to you on the bench every time I score and maybe make the Zach Collins sign. Just be like, yeah, you little softy, little wussy. Unbelievable. Anyway, quick game notes. Michael Porter Jr. in, James Harden out.
So, yeah, Michael Porter Jr. is in. They were thinking about sitting him.
Yeah.
They understood that it was an important game.
Yeah, is that what they did?
They said, you know what? We're going to play our guy in an important game. That's what you're supposed to do in these important games.
Within reason, of course. Yeah. Within reason.
Colin Gillespie and Jack White are both out.
Okay.
Colin Gillespie's been out all year. Jack White, it's the end of the year. You did not expect him to play. On the other side of things, everybody knows Joel Embiid is out with a broken a calf sprain. A calf sprain.
Wow.
James Harden was in, right?
Yeah.
Not in anymore. He's now out, Achilles. So this is not a fun game anymore. Think about if you bought tickets to this game. Tickets to this game. Now you can't see
tickets, yeah.
either of those. You just ruined everything.
If Embiid had played here like more than once in the last 7 years, it's unbelievable that. It reminds me last year, you guys can go look this up. Last year, the 76ers went on a run, and Embiid personally went on a monster run in the month of January. They won a bunch of games in a row, and he played unbelievable. You know what game he missed? They played all these scrub teams last year.
Yeah.
And then he missed the game against Memphis with rest coming into it because it was the hardest game that they were going to play. I'm telling you, people need to start calling this stuff out.
Yeah, but the good thing is, guess who is in for the Sixers?
Who is?
Daniel House Jr. He returns tonight.
Nuggets better get a win. This is like such a crappy game. Yeah, they don't have their two best players. That's like a crappy place for Denver to be in now. What's the game plan? Who are you going after? Who do you target?
The backup. You just punished the backup.
Hey, Philly beat Denver shorthanded, I think, last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. In a similar situation, and Denver just came out so flat-footed. Hopefully they don't do that tonight. All right, let's open up DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Let's play some quick bets. Give me some quick ones here.
Before we get on that, real fast, Doc Rivers spoke about the MVP before the game. He just said that he's over it. He doesn't want them to pit himself against each other. He just said that he's sick of it. He also had a very hilarious quote. That's why I had to bring this up.
Okay.
He said that he hopes that he never sees Jamal Murray bubble return again because that's the reason that he's in Philadelphia. So that was like a good, funny comment. Oh, they just showed the starters. It's brutal over there.
Oh, my God. Dwayne Dedman.
It is brutal. When we go to bets, We'll just start and end with Jokic. It is a Jokic night. I really do hope that he embarrasses them in every single way. We're going to go his points. I think he is. I think he's going to get his triple-double. We're going to just lock it in.
All right.
It's a lock. He's going to get a triple-double.
Right.
And it could be quick. I also think he's going to get his 10 assists. So that also has to go in there. This is a Jokic type of night where they just show, hey, this is what he would have done anyway. So this has to be a Jokic night. Jamal Murray's been playing really well. I like the 3-ball. He's been knocking that down at a high rate. I don't think that the starters are going to play a whole bunch, but I do hope that this is a statement win. Not that it's a close game, but hey, let's embarrass these guys and just build on another win. Because at the end of the year, they're going to say they beat Philadelphia. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks. They turned it around and they go into the playoffs with that. And then also,
no same-game parlays today. What a bummer.
Yeah, it's rough. Michael Porter Jr. threes. It's been hidden.
Yeah.
Three. That's all we have to get, and I know that it's going to actually happen. So
did you know? Did you see I put this out? I think he's like 19 threes away or 20. I can't remember what the number is. I tweeted it out, but he's very close to cracking top 10 all time in Denver Nuggets franchise history, and he's also close to having the most in a season of all time for Denver Nuggets. So I'm with you on Michael Porter. I'm just feeling his threes. I don't love the juice on this, minus 135, but what can I do? If they would have put it up. That's for 2.5. If they would have put it up to 3.5 and given me plus 130, I would have taken that.
Oh, you have to take it.
You have to take it right now. I just feel like he's feeling the threes there. All right, no other bets, no other crazy ones. Aaron Gordon, how's he play tonight?
I think he's going to have a regular game. This is like a rest game for Aaron Gordon. We need him to just get healthy until the playoffs or just like when it matters. I don't think this is a game that matters at all for him, so I'm going to stay away from Aaron Gordon, but I do hope that he just goes out there and gives some hard minutes.
We got a super chat that came in here at the very end. It comes from Coupon User. All right, Coupon User says, respect getting Coach Rudy on. Colorado B-ball legends deserve to get celebrated. Also, shout out Dev. You know what you did, but thanks for pushing for high school venues. Thunderdome is awesome. Do you know what you did?
I probably know what I did. But really, honestly, Rudy Carey is not just a legendary coach. He is the legendary coach. The number one winning coach in Colorado basketball history, legend, the most recent champion, the most championships.
Yeah.
We got Rudy Carey on.
It's
legendary, man. It's legendary. And it's across the street from East High School.
It's right here in our neighborhood and in our backyard. And don't forget, guys, today, we always appreciate super chats. Those go directly to us. But tonight, pregame, postgame, this is all about Luis Garcia and his family. So you guys can use that link in the description of the show or the little QR code that keeps popping up. Go ahead and hit that. And if you feel like donating to his family, obviously every little bit is appreciated. We're going to head out of here. We're going to be back postgame. D-Line, I know everybody's asking about D-Line. They always want to know about D-Line. D-Line will be back. He'll be back right here with us for the postgame show right after the game. We'll see you guys then. Hit that like button on the way out.